Now, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I'm scared of police. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the way they walk, the way they shine a torch in your face, the way they say you're under arrest for trespassing and breaking and entering. Leave Mrs. Wilkinson alone. I don't know what it is. It's something I can't put my finger on. But now I have the chance to be a police officer myself in our next game up for review. And that is, of course, LA Noire. For years, the publishers at Rockstar Games have allowed us to live criminal lives with the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Now they give us a chance to enforce the law. Developed by Team Bondi and released in mid-2011, LA Noire is a unique, open-world title that braves a new style of gameplay with graphical and storytelling advancements. This was my most anticipated title of 2011, so let's see what all the fuss was about.
I was kissing her.
Set against the backdrop of 1940s Los Angeles, right after World War II, you take control of former war hero Cole Phelps as he makes his way up the LAPD. You'll start from being a cop on the beat to working detective cases in traffic, homicide, advice, and then arson. Team Bondi have nailed it here, making you feel like a real detective. Every case requires a sharp eye for details, and nothing is as it seems. This could be due to the fact that most of the cases are actually based on real-life cases of that time. The writing for dialogue and individual missions is sharp, and there's a sense of realism there. I did feel that the overarching story was a bit weak in areas, and there's always that feeling that as much as you feel like the game could go anywhere, it does push and force certain scenarios onto you. But I suppose that's a small byproduct of doing such a radical game. But like any other Rockstar game, this is very mature and very polished.
He said he was at home. He said he didn't know her. And we have the book.
LAPD, ma'am.
The standout feature of LA Noire is the new facial recognition tech that's been used from real actors. It's one of the best features in the game as it captures real performances that complements the gameplay and story like no other. You can see everything from a small twitch to a cheeky smile, but I will say that the eyes can wander a little bit and they look in random directions. Other than that, it's superb stuff. Both Los Angeles and the 1940s period has been recreated pretty well, and it's a joy to embark down the street in this living, breathing city. I did think it was a little bigger than it should have been though. But everything from the cars to clues to character movements is just jazz, baby! A real cinematic joy. Performances from all characters is top-notch, especially with Aaron Stanton in the lead. You'll notice a bunch of other actors, but all the dialogues here have been handled believably. Nothing over the top. Furthermore, the jazzy soundtrack adds a nice noir vibe to the game, as well as an authentic radio station with plenty of easy listening tracks.
Thank God we're not in my car.
Whilst LA Noire seems like a typical open world game, it's not. You're basically progressing the game in a linear fashion as you tackle case after case. Each case revolves around finding clues at crime scenes and then interrogating witnesses and suspects. When interrogating, you'll have the option to accuse them of lying, falsifying, or telling the truth based on their behaviour to each of your questions. Lying requires you to back it up with sufficient evidence. Now, get it right and you'll move closer to catching your criminal. Get it wrong and you'll probably miss out on critical information. It's intense and thought-provoking, not to mention fun as hell. There's really nothing like it. Whilst it can be challenging, you can score intuition points, which can help you out with clues and correct answers. Suspects don't always come willingly, however, and you'll be chasing, fighting and shooting people of the underworld in your bid to uphold justice. The fighting and shooting is fairly standard, nothing terribly new or well done, but it does provide a nice and often welcome change in pace for the game. Aside from the main cases, you'll have 40 side missions to tackle, or as well as collecting film reels and special cars, but other than that, there's not much to explore or do. But half the fun of LA Noire is spent hanging out with your partners, driving to crime scenes, tailing suspects, and getting that pat in the back from the chief.
God's mill may grind slowly, but it grinds finely, son. I hear it's you who nabbed our malefactor.
LA Noire is a very brave and bold title that is unlike any other, and it's awesome because of it. It's very polished and it's very smooth. This is something that requires intelligence and patience, something that few games offer. Now, I won't lie, there are some flaws and there are some areas that need to be patched up in this game, but I think everyone should play this. Not because of how different it is, but because of how fun it is. Cinematically, it weaves in story and gameplay wonderfully. I could go on forever about this, and I'm about to, but sorry. I was going to say 9.69 out of 10.01. Ah! Awesome!